How are you going? How is it going, guys? I fell down yesterday and I received some stitches in the ancient city of Pylos. It was incredible. And yeah, hopefully it gets better. Yesterday we were in Sparta. It was really fun. It was a lot of fun. I made some video in front of the statue with Leonidas. It looks like as if I was having a beer belly or something, but it's because of the microphone cable that is sticking out a little bit. It looks really funny. And yeah, this was brutal, by the way. This looks good now. It looks good right now, but it was really brutal. So I'm gonna tell you some stuff about Sparta and the trip through the Taygetos mountain. And yeah, have fun. So we are here on our way to Sparta through the Taygetos mountain. So what you should know is that the Taygetos mountain don't look particularly big, like from the Messenian part of the from the Messenian Gulf. They don't look very big or massive, but once you start passing through, they look really big. I mean, their area is amazingly big. It's they're incredible. They cover incredible amount of area, many square kilometers, and it's really hard to pass through. It's from, let's say, from one of the villages, one of the Messenian villages, like Verga or some other village or some town, to Sparta. It is 55 to 60 kilometers by car, right? I mean, you have to take this distance by car, and it takes you more than 1.5 hours. It's incredible. It's so slow. It's incredibly slow. It takes ages to get there. It's the roads are covered with rocks, not very well preserved. You have to drive really slowly, and you see how massive the mountains are. They're massive. I mean, this is huge area of mountains, and there's no end. I mean, there's only like looking from above, straight, like straight distance, like from airplane distance. It should be not more than, I don't know, 10 kilometers or 20 kilometers is a straight distance, like as if you would fly with an airplane. But when you start, driving the distance, it takes ages. It's 60 kilometers, but it takes ages to get there, guys. It takes ages. And it's a fairly hard trip. I mean, it's full of curves everywhere, very curvy all the time, rocks, and you got to be really careful. But it's very beautiful, very nice sights, very beautiful views. As you can see, you're going under the rocks all the time, going passing through beautiful places. It's amazing. Just the trip is amazing. But it's a massive area that really isolates Sparta from the rest of Greece, because Sparta is surrounded by two mountains. One is this mountain, Taygetos mountain, and on the other side is the Parnon mountain. The Parnon mountain is like it builds kind of a triangle between, like they kind of touch in the middle. So the Sparta, like, and Laconia, the area of Laconia is in a kind of a rectangle, triangle. Sorry, a triangle between those two mountains, Taygetos and Parnon. and in between is the valley of Laconia, the Laconian Valley, and the the river. There's a fairly small river actually running in between, and as you can see, I can't imagine having to pass this mountainous region uh, with horses, and like the army should pass these mountains um, in order to control Messenia, because they were controlling these areas. I can't imagine how. I can't even imagine how someone would pass this area with horses and with you know with a whole army. It's should be very hard. I mean, the other ways the through the passage through the two mountain between the two mountains, Taygetos and Parnon. But it takes, like, if you go this way, it takes like 100 to get um, to whatever you're going, like either Messenia or Corinth, or the north part of Greece. It takes a lot longer than through the mountains. And like I said, it's you would not think that there are so huge areas of mountains in between. And yeah, the city itself, like when you go to the city of Sparta, it never needed a fortress. It was never fortified. It never needed a fortress. It never needed any protection. It's naturally protected by these huge mountains that you see right now. And the funny thing is, at the same time, they were isolated. They were protected, but at the same time isolated. So that is the funny thing about Sparta. They were isolated, and that's why they could develop their strange or interesting society. They were separating. They were a separate kind of society, having totally different traditions and rules and everything. And it was a totally military state, where fitness and nutrition, military training was really important, like incredibly important. They were fighting like all the time. They were doing nothing else. It was like this kind of utopian society that didn't exist anywhere else. And I think this kind of utopian society was only possible because of the isolation through these two mountains. And it was really a military state. People there did nothing else but training. They didn't do agriculture. They didn't do anything else. They were having this different kind of people that were free to work for them. I mean, they were free. They were not really citizens of Sparta. Hey, what's up, guys? What you can see behind me are the Taygetos Mountains. I'm very close to Sparta now. We made it through the roads. The roads were in a very, very bad condition. There were so many stones and rocks laying around. We had to slow down all the time. It was a very, very hard journey to Sparta. From Messenia to Sparta, it was a very, very hard journey. I mean, I didn't expect the roads to be covered with stones all the time, and the driving was very, very hard. Thanks God I didn't drive. And I'm gonna be soon in Sparta, and I'm gonna keep you updated, guys, and see you soon. This is how it looks like, the Taygetos mountain. Very, very beautiful. And a huge area of mountain. When you're on the seaside, on the coast, you wouldn't expect such huge area of mountains behind you. You just wouldn't expect it. It's a vast area of mountains. It's incredible. Yep. So that's from me, guys, and I'm gonna keep you updated. See you soon. So here we are in the modern city of Sparta, which seems like a normal city, but it's not really the usual city, because it's, like I said, surrounded by mountains, and the climate is slightly different from the Messenian part. The Messenian part is really hot, like it's incredibly hot, and here the temperatures were a little lower. It was a little fresher, so I can understand how they were able to train and exercise more often. This is ancient Sparta here. So we're at the archaeological site of Sparta. There are two Spartas, basically. It's very important to be said. Mycenaean Sparta and ancient Sparta, the Dorian side of Sparta. The Dorian Sparta and the Mycenaean Sparta have nothing to do with each other. The Mycenaean Sparta that you see in the movie Troy with Brad Pitt, and this this whole story with the beautiful Helen and so on. This is the Mycenaean Sparta. This is from the Bronze Age Sparta. Everything that goes on in this story is from the Bronze Age. The Bronze Age Sparta has nothing to do with the ancient Sparta. Bronze Age Sparta is the Mycenaean Sparta, and ancient Sparta is the Dorian Sparta. There's the pre-Dorian Sparta and the Dorian Sparta. It's very, very, they have to be differentiated. They have to be separated, because they have basically nothing to do with each other. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm in the archaeological site of Sparta right now. I am in ancient Sparta right now. Can you believe that? It's incredible. What you can see behind me are the mountains. Sparta, ancient Sparta, only ruins around me. It's very, very interesting. This city is amazing. This city has huge history. It's just incredible how many years of battles and history have passed here in this area. So it's really, really to recommend it. It's really recommendable to come here to visit it. The city is literally surrounded by mountains. All around it, there are mountains all around it, and it's very good protected, very well protected. The city itself is like a fortress, completely surrounded by mountains. So this is what you can see here. I'm gonna try to show it to you. It's very hot right now, even though it's in the end of September. This is how it looks like, completely surrounded by mountains. And I don't know if you can see the old city over there, the very, very old city. And this is the new city over here somewhere in this direction. And this is how it looks like. And this is the whole archaeological site here. So I'm gonna keep you updated what I have seen. I'm gonna post some pictures and so on. Very interesting. So again, the Bronze Age Sparta that you know from the movie Troy, where Menelaus, the king of Sparta, was chasing his wife, the beautiful Helen. This is the Bronze Age Sparta. It doesn't have anything to do with the ancient Sparta. And there are two different Spartas. The interesting one is the Dorian, the ancient Sparta, where they had this crazy society over there, where they were actually completely militarized. Women had the chance to vote. They had the chance to go to school, to have education and everything, which was like unheard of in the rest of Greece. And this is the Dorian Sparta, not the Bronze Age Sparta, but the Dorian Sparta. Again, there are two different Spartas. They have to be separated. Here you see it again, the theater. It's amazing to stay there. It's amazing to have a look at it. So many years of history. I'm not sure if this theater is from the Bronze Age, from the very, very old Sparta or the ancient Sparta. I'm not completely sure. As you can see, the mountains are pretty much surrounding the city. You can see them from both sides, and like I said, the climate is slightly cooler, fresher. I mean, it's still very hot, but it's slightly cooler than on the coast, and which makes you able to train, to exercise more. Anyway, the Spartans were not living in the city. Like most of the Spartans were in military units outside of the city, like close to the mountains, or they were not living in the city. They were always in their camps, training, exercising. What you can see behind me is the ancient theater of Sparta. This is how it looks like. Hey, what's up guys? How are you doing? I'm finally in Sparta, finally in front of the Leonidas statue. It's beautiful, and I just made a tour that I was so long preparing for. It's an incredible thing to see that. To see the ancient city with so much history, incredible history, intense history, very intense history. And I'm gonna show you all the different parts, the ancient part of Sparta and everything. I'm gonna show you all the different aspects of Sparta, if you're interested, of course. I know it doesn't have a lot to do with fitness, but it has to do with health, way of living, lifestyle. How can you keep your lifestyle healthy? How can you keep your life interesting and healthy and everything? And this is how the ancient Spartans did it, like through a lot of sports, a lot of exercise, a lot of different kind of thinking, out of the box thinking. So it's incredible. This is the stadium of Sparta. This is the stadium. It's not an ancient stadium. It's the new stadium. This is how it looks like, and this is a moment I've been waiting for so long. It's incredible. I can't believe I'm here. It's incredible. I'm just a huge fan of Sparta, huge fan of this lifestyle, and I just can't believe I came here, and I have the possibility to see everything. It's incredible. So keep you updated, guys, and see you soon. This is the main city of Sparta, the modern city of Sparta. This is the main street. A lot of nice restaurants, good places to eat. It's, like I said, a little cooler as a temperature. It's not so hot like on the other side of the mountain. City with incredible history, Bronze Age, Mycenaean Sparta, then the ancient Sparta, the Dorian Sparta, which was the more interesting one, with the one that we're all fascinated about is the Sparta with the military camps and the aristocrat society. Here is again the main city, the main street. It looks like a normal city, but it's really beautiful with this with these mountains surrounding it. Here we're going back, so this is the way back again through the mountains. It takes ages to get back there. So the ancient Spartan society consisted of basically three parts: the Spartans, the Perioeci, and the Helots. The Helots were like the slaves with no rights. They had to work only to deliver, and they had to pay taxes, and they were really miserable actually. The Perioeci were free men, but they were no citizens. They were engaged in fights, in battles. They were called whenever there was a battle, but they were not part of the Spartan army. They didn't go to their training camps, to their extreme training camps. They were just normal people having a normal profession, and they were called from time to time to battle, but the Spartans were having only one profession, soldier, warrior, nothing else. They didn't have anything else. And so if the Spartans were so successful, the logical question remains, why did they fail? Why did they decline at the end? And the answer is, again, in the society that they had. The society was really tricky. If you were a Spartan, you can only inherit, the citizenship. You can only inherit it from your father and your family. And if you are Perioeci or a Helot, or you're just you're different. You're a different class. You're not part of the Spartan class. So you will never get a citizenship. So basically, you can only lose your Spartan citizenship by, for example, not going to school, because if you're not able to pay for the school, for the military school, you might lose your Spartan citizenship. So not going to school means you probably you might lose your citizenship, and then become one of the Helots or Perioeci or whatever. And so in the end, after years and years, like hundreds of years, there were more and more Helots and Perioeci, and less Spartans, because Spartan women could not deliver so many kids. It was impossible to keep up with the rest of the population. So because there were also probably immigration from other parts, demographic changes. So the decline of Sparta was actually pretty natural. It happened pretty naturally with the time, because the Helots, the slaves, were like 100,000. The Perikoi, the craftsmen and tradesmen, and the the non-citizens were like around 50,000, and the Spartans were 10,000 people. And with the time, slowly, the Spartans became fewer and fewer. They became just less people, because you can only lose citizenship, but you cannot win a Spartan citizenship. You can only lose it but not win it. So they were destined to become fewer. This is the principle. They could have calculated that they will eventually become just less Spartans and more Helots. The Helots became a huge number of people, like a huge population, because they were able to accept people from outside. People are coming in to the peninsula or to the area, and so they become just they became more people. Just simple math, and the Spartans became less. So that was from my side, guys. I hope it was interesting for you. I hope you liked it, and I don't know. It really doesn't have a lot to do with fitness. I just can't help it, guys. I've been a Spartan in my previous life, so I can't help it. And let me know what you think about it. So let me know what you think about it, and let me know what you think. What would be the test to get to become a Spartan? If you were a helot, for example, a slave, and you want to become a Spartan, what would be the test? The Spartan test. So let me know in the comments. See you. And I think it's, even though it's a fitness channel, I think it's always good to learn new stuff brought up in a very simplified way, interesting way. So it's always good to have like broad culture. So see you soon. Точно пойдешь со мной, и я холодный, как лимонад. Никто в этом не виноват, и я